Welcome back to Red Devils TV. In this video, we're going to be talking about Mason Greenwood's future. But before we get into today's video, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. It really helps out the channel as we continue our road to 1,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, please like the video, and let me know in the comments down below on what you think of the Mason Greenwood situation. So there's been reports talking about Mason Greenwood's future at Man United, and it seems to be that United is not going to be his permanent club, which for me, and my opinion, I think it is the better option because for me, he's just more trouble than he's worth keeping. But there are massive clubs out there who want Mason Greenwood's signature. We're talking the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona and Bayern Munich, as well as Lazio and Getafe, the club that Mason Greenwood is currently at. Now, Barcelona, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich aren't talking to Man United on direct terms about Mason Greenwood's future, but they've sent scouts out there to monitor Mason Greenwood whilst he is on loan in Getafe. And with Mason Greenwood's comments about Spain and the Liga, he's really loving the life out there. So with a player like Mason Greenwood in the situation he's in, that's a massive, massive factor to his morale and his decision making, because if he's loving the life in Spain, then no doubt he wants to stay in Spain. You know, Getafe, he's on there for the rest of the season. There are reports as well that there's some sort of clause where there's a January break for Greenwood's loan contract, where if he goes back to Man United, there's some sort of $216,000 or euro fine. And for me, I just think that, like I've said, Mason Greenwood is more trouble than he's worth keeping. So the plan seems to be, from the reports, and if you read enough of reports and you jot it all together, it seems that this is what's going to happen. While Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the takeover deal is still going on, we don't know what's happening with that. So no doubt no transfer news is going to happen anytime soon. But it seems that Mason Greenwood is going to stay out on loan in Getafe for the rest of the season. And depending on the situation from the fans, the club and Mason Greenwood himself, is whether he's going to stay at Manchester United or not. If not, it seems like that Mason Greenwood will move in the summer to a permanent contract on a different team. So whether that is Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Lazio, any other team that is mentioned. But the British media have started to pick up on this, and they've turned around and said that it's probably best for Mason Greenwood to leave as well. So if you're Mason Greenwood and you're reading these reports, you probably think that, well, we don't want me back home. At the end of the day, it is horrible because the situation I am in are all allegations and I am innocent until proven guilty. But at the end of the day, I heard them tapes, and for me, I believe that Mason Greenwood should be leaving. And there are fans out there who do believe Mason Greenwood is innocent, and there are fans out there who say that, well, him and his girlfriend are back together, and if they can move past it, then what's the cause and what's the harm? But there's domestic abuse, like there's so many court cases and police cases out there where a victim has been abused by the partner, and then like about several months later they're back together because there's that mental attachment towards them where they can't actually leave because they're scared. There's so much about this that's bigger than football, and there's always so much I can talk about, and there's always so much that I know. But for me, I am going to talk about Man United's future, and I'm going to make every single video based on Man United. But with Mason Greenwood and the future of Man United, for me, I just think it's more trouble than him keeping him than it is selling him, And like I said, no matter what decision is made on Mason Greenwood's future, no doubt at the end of the day, not every single person is going to be happy with what happened. You've got international fans, you've got the fan base in the UK. And you could probably say, just looking at Twitter, for example, I know that's a really, really bad comparison to make, but you see it, and Mason Greenwood is practically 50-50 on any topic he's mentioned in, whether it's keeping him or selling him. And it seems to be very, very 50-50. But at the end of the day, no, everyone's going to be happy. But when the club likes to promote the women's rights and the women's team and everything about standing up for what's right, having Mason Greenwood involved with the club, whether what happened is true or not, I don't think it's a good look, especially when United are so focused on PR and looking like a great club on social media. For me, it's just not worth keeping him. And yes, when he was a United player and when he was breaking onto the scene, and he was a generational talent. He showed so much potential. Sir Alex Ferguson said on a podcast with Gary Neville that Mason Greenwood looks like one of the best English talents in the world at that moment. You know, he was about 18, 19 years old. He was playing on the right wing for Man United, but looks like he was going to mould into an amazing elite striker. But at the end of the day, Mason Greenwood, it is also his decision as much as it is Manchester United's. And for me, this is where I go back on the morale of the player. If he's loving his new life in Spain and having been away from England and all the pressure and everything that happened back there, it's a fresh start for him. So no doubt for him as well, he would probably look at the situation and be like, look, I was at Manchester United since I was 6 years old, and realistically, it's time for a fresh start for me, because no matter what happens when I stay in England, I'm going to get absolutely ridiculed. And, you know, playing for Spain or playing in a different country, no doubt that'll be the best option for Mason Greenwood. Now, again, we don't know what Mason Greenwood's future is going to be, but his future has been decided, where the reports that we are reading are Mason Greenwood is not going to be finishing the 24 season as a Man United player. Plus, at the end of this summer, he'll only have 1 year left on his contract, which realistically, so many clubs will then be coming in for him for such a low fee. And with the potential Mason Greenwood has, you know, he is scoring quite a few good goals for Getafe. I think he's scored 4 goals in 13 games. When you've been away from football for 18 months and you're still scoring goals like in the quality he's scoring them, you know, with an elite team, they could probably make him again, bring back that potential. And it is scary because we saw how good Mason Greenwood was at Man United. But at the end of the day, for me, I would much rather have Mason Greenwood away from the club than keep him. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below on what you think of Mason Greenwood. You know, I do feel like this video is very uncomfortable to make because there's so much in the air and so much is in the unknown about the Greenwood situation. But for me, he's just more trouble than worth keeping, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments down below on what your thoughts are on Mason Greenwood. And would you keep him at Man United? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video and subscribe if you are new. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.